Welcome to the Wisdom in the Rough. I'm Dr. Oyindamola Okenla, also known as DrDTO. This is a space where we have honest conversations about healing, emotional rebuilding, mindset renewal, purpose, and transformation. And today, I want to talk to the person whose life still looks functional on the outside, but internally something feels tired. Not physically tired, soul tired, emotionally tired, mentally overloaded. The kind of tiredness sleep does not completely fix. You are still showing up, still working, still caring for others, still leading, still smiling, still praying, still producing. Huh? But internally, you know something feels heavy. And many people around you may never notice it because you have mastered the art of functioning while exhausted. Today's conversation is for you. Functioning does not mean you are okay. One of the most dangerous things about emotional exhaustion is this: people can be deeply exhausted and still highly functional. Some of the most emotionally tired people are still productive. They still go to work, still post online, still attend church, still care for family, still answer emails, still run businesses, still show up for everybody else. And because they are functioning, nobody realizes they are slowly draining internally. Excuse me. Sometimes even they do not realize it themselves because survival mode can become normal. Many people have been emotionally surviving for so long that peace now feels unfamiliar. Rest feels uncomfortable. Stillness feels unsafe. And slowing down feels irresponsible. That's not laziness, that's overload. Emotional exhaustion rarely arrives suddenly, it usually builds quietly. How do people become emotionally overloaded? How? Just how? Emotional exhaustion is not always caused by one major tragedy. Sometimes it is accumulated emotional weight, unprocessed disappointments, constant pressure, long seasons of survival, caretaking everyone else while neglecting yourself. Being strong for too many people for too long, carrying silent grief, suppressing anger, living in uncertainty, recovering from betrayal, over functioning, trying to keep everything together while feeling and falling apart internally. And eventually, the mind and body start saying, this is too much. Hey, but many high functioning people ignores those signals because they think I just need to push harder. I just need to pray more. I just need more discipline. I just need rest. But emotional exhaustion is deeper than ordinary tiredness. Sometimes your body is sitting down, but your nervous system is still fighting. I want you to take a moment and honestly ask yourself, when was the last time I really felt emotionally safe enough to breathe deeply? What is the cost of survival mode? because it has a cost. So how more changes people. It changes how you think, how you react, how you connect, how you trust, how you rest. Sometimes people who used to be soft become emotionally guarded. Sometimes people who used to trust easily become hyper alert. Sometimes they become emotionally numb because feeling everything became too painful. And many people begin functioning from protection instead of peace. That is why some people cannot relax even when life becomes stable, because the body remembers stress, the nervous system remembers instability, the emotions remember pain. That is why healing is not just spiritual language. Healing is emotional work, mental work, internal rebuilding work. And pretending to be okay does not heal exhaustion. Performing strength does not restore peace. And this is where many people misunderstand themselves. Let me say this: you are not lazy. One of the biggest lies emotionally exhausted people believe it. I'm lazy, I'm inconsistent, I'm failing. No. Sometimes you're overloaded. Sometimes your mind is tired. Sometimes your emotions are overwhelmed. And sometimes your internal world has been carrying too much pressure for too long. And this is important because people who misdiagnose emotional exhaustion often attack themselves unnecessarily. They shame themselves, criticize themselves, compare themselves, push themselves harder, when what they actually need is support, clarity, healing, regulation, space to breathe, space to process, and space to rebuild. I think many women, especially, have mastered survival. We know how to continue. We know how to keep moving. We know how to show up while hurting. I've been there. But functioning is not the same thing as healing. And eventually, emotional exhaustion begins to show up somewhere, in relationships, in motivation, in concentration, in confidence, in sleep, in joy, in purpose, in emotional regulation. The body eventually speaks. That's the cost. So, what does rebuilding look like? What does it look like? So, what does rebuilding begin to look like? First, honesty. Honesty about your emotional condition. Number two, permission. Permission to stop pretending you are fine. You know, when we say, how are you? I know people say, I'm okay. But it's good. It's okay not to be okay. I believe you have had that before. And this is May, is a mental awareness month. So let me ask you, are you okay? So number three is support. Healthy support systems matter. Healing conversations matter. Emotional processing matters. Rest matters. Boundaries matter. And rebuilding requires more than inspiration. It requires intentional inner work. This is why emotional healing is not weakness, it is wisdom. Because unhealed exhaustion eventually affects your clarity, your relationships, your confidence, your leadership, your purpose, and your ability to fully enjoy life. If your life has looked functional lately, but internally you feel tired, heavy, overwhelmed, or emotionally stretched, I want you to know this. You are not failing. You may simply be carrying too much emotionally without enough restoration. And sometimes transformation begins with honesty. I would say most times, anyway. Not performance, not pretending, just honesty. And if this episode resonated with you, I want to take the next step toward rebuilding. You can explore the performance reset resources, coaching support, and transformational intensive through the website. And if this episode encourages you, share it with someone who may also be emotionally exhausted silently. Because many people, like I said, are functioning, but they're not okay. And thank you for spending this time with me today. This is Wisdom in the Rough. I'm Dr. Oyindamola Okenla, and I will see you in the next episode.